Welcome back to my channel. So this video is part 2 of my trip to the Rocky Mountains and the Canadian Rocky Mountains. This part is where we went to 3 national parks in Canada, and if you haven't seen the first part, I'll link it below. You should go watch that one first. So this morning we woke up in Butte, Montana, and we just had to drive to the border. We had to get there at a certain time because with the new Canadian app, you have to put in all your travel information, and you have to do it within 72 hours of entering the country, so we were kind of in a hurry, but we finally got into Canada and we checked into our hotel in Calgary. Of course, we stopped at Tim Hortons when we got over the border because we wanted donuts and coffee, and then for dinner we tried this really good Nepali food place. And then we went to this park, which was a hill, and you could just see the city and the skyline, and it was a really good view spot. And then the next morning we headed to Banff National Park. This is one of those cool nature overpasses for animals. And as soon as we got to Lake Louise, it was actually super foggy, so we decided to hike the Lake Agnes Trail, which is a trail up a mountain, and you pass I think a couple of lakes, and then there's a lake at the top called Lake Agnes. And when we drove from Calgary to Banff, we left super early in the morning before it was even light out. We planned on getting to the park as the sun was rising because the parking lots for the lakes fill up super fast, so you have to get there really early. Anyway, this trail is basically all uphill because you're literally climbing a mountain. And as you ascend the mountain, it gets snowier and snowier, which is something I wasn't really expecting because I wasn't planning on hiking this trail. But it was really cool because my dogs have never seen snow before, and as we're going up, they would notice the snow and then play in it, and it was just really cute. And the first lake that we came to is called Mirror Lake. And I'm assuming the reason it's called Mirror Lake is because it's just super silvery and reflective and calm, and it literally just looks like a perfect mirror. The reflection is just completely perfect. It's hard to explain, you have to see it in real life. But the view of the mountains up here was absolutely amazing. It was just so cool to be above the clouds. And then we passed some horses and a waterfall, and then we came to Lake Agnes, which was also really beautiful, and there's a cafe up here actually, which I was super surprised about, and then they have restrooms, and it was really crowded, but it was still cool to see that, because I feel in the United States we don't really have stuff like that. And then we started our descent, which was actually pretty slippery and snowy, so you have to be careful. And then we went to Lake Louise, which was insane. It was better than I expected and surpassed my expectations. The water's just so blue and foggy. And then we drove over to Moraine Lake, which I actually thought was even prettier than Lake Louise. It's slightly less popular, I think, but I don't know, I just thought this lake was even prettier because of the mountains that surround it and the color of the water. I'm just obsessed. And this parking lot is even smaller than the Lake Louise parking lot, so parking is difficult here as well. But we got pretty lucky, we didn't have to wait or anything. And we got some food at the cafe there, and then we continued driving to the next national park. And we hiked this trail in Kootenay National Park called Marble Canyon, and it was really awesome. This park is actually in British Columbia, which was kind of cool because I've never been to British Columbia before, so that was exciting. But what's so amazing about this park is that there's just a really deep canyon with really blue river that goes through it, and you kind of walk across it and along it on bridges and walkways, and you cross it several times, and it's just really cool to look down into this super deep canyon. And this park was not crowded at all. I think there was only a few other people on this trail aside from us, so I wouldn't worry too much about parking. We didn't have to pay anything to get in because we had already paid an entrance fee at Banff National Park, and I believe you only have to pay once for all of the Canadian Rocky national parks, like per day. And then after that, we just left the park and drove to the town of Banff for dinner and to go in some of these shops. This town is super cute, and of course I had to get another Christmas ornament, and I think I got like a magnet as well. And we got chicken sandwiches at like a chicken place. I'll write the name of it, but it was really good. And then we drove back to Calgary. We stayed at a new hotel. We didn't stay at the same one from the night before just because we booked these hotels like separately because we didn't know what our plan was when we booked the first hotel. But this one was really nice and my dogs really enjoyed it. And then the next morning we woke up, explored Calgary a little bit. We went to the Real Canadian Superstore to get some snacks, and then we just left and went to Waterton Lakes National Park. And as soon as we entered the park, we saw a grizzly bear. There's a grizzly bear in the field down there. It's really hard to see, but yeah, there was a bunch of people looking at it from a bridge, and that was cool because I'd never seen one before. And then we went over to, I think it's called Driftwood Beach. It's a really nice view. This spot has a really good view of the Prince of Wales Hotel and the mountains and the lakes, so I recommend stopping there. And then we drove over to the Red Rock Canyon Trail, which was also pretty cool, but it was kind of under construction. They're just like fixing a bridge that goes over the trail, and I don't really know what else they were doing. And on the way back, we spotted this black bear on the side of the road. He was eating, I don't know, whatever black bears eat, probably berries or something. But that was really cool. We stopped and watched him for a while. We literally saw 3 bears in this park in one day, so if you want to see bears, Waterton Lakes is definitely like the place to go. It wasn't very crowded, there was not a lot of people around at all. And we went to this trail next called Bear Hump Trail. This was the best trail in the whole park. It has the best views. I think you have to do this trail if you come here, if you're like physically able to do it. It was very steep and all uphill, but I highly recommend it. And then after this, we just headed to our next hotel for the night. Not this one, but a different one. And then the next morning, we got coffee and headed to Salt Lake City to fly home. And that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you like my channel. I'm going to link my blog and my other video below just because I have a lot of photos on my blog from this trip. So thanks for watching.